Life often presents itself as a series of choices and actions, giving us the impression that we are the architects of our destiny. We believe that with enough effort, planning, and determination, we can control the outcomes of our lives. But this belief, while comforting, is an illusion. The reality is far more complex and less predictable than we would like to admit. Spiritual people understand this deep truth, that control is, in many ways, an illusion. The idea that we can manipulate every aspect of our lives to fit our desires is a comforting lie we tell ourselves to feel secure. However, life is full of uncertainties, twists, and turns that no amount of planning can account for. This doesn't mean that life is entirely chaotic or that our actions don't matter. On the contrary, spiritual people recognize that while we can influence our lives to a certain extent, there are forces beyond our control that shape our experiences. These forces could be natural events, the actions of others, or even the mysterious workings of fate. By understanding and accepting the limits of control, spiritual individuals learn to navigate life with a sense of humility and openness. They do not cling desperately to the need to control every outcome, but instead cultivate a mindset of adaptability and surrender. This acceptance allows them to move through life with a sense of peace, knowing that while they cannot control everything, they can control their reactions and attitudes. The illusion of control can lead to immense stress and disappointment when reality does not align with our expectations. Spiritual people learn to let go of rigid expectations, understanding that life's unpredictability is not something to fear, but to embrace. They focus on what they can control, their thoughts, actions, and reactions, while letting go of the need to micromanage every detail of their existence. This mindset does not lead to passivity, but to a deeper engagement with life, where the focus shifts from controlling outcomes to living fully in the present moment, responding to life as it unfolds. One of the hardest truths to accept is that suffering is an inevitable part of life. Many people spend their lives trying to avoid pain and discomfort, believing that happiness lies in the absence of suffering. However, spiritual people understand that suffering is not just an unfortunate side effect of life, but an integral part of the human experience. This is not a pessimistic view, but a realistic one. Recognizing the inevitability of suffering allows spiritual individuals to face life's challenges with greater resilience and wisdom. Suffering comes in many forms: loss, disappointment, illness, and emotional pain, to name a few. These experiences can be overwhelming and, at times, seemingly unbearable. But spiritual people know that suffering, while painful, also has the potential to be transformative. It is through suffering that we learn some of life's most important lessons: compassion, empathy, and the strength to overcome adversity. Instead of running from suffering, spiritual individuals confront it head-on, seeking to understand the deeper meaning behind their pain. This doesn't mean that spiritual people seek out suffering or glorify it, but rather that they accept it as a natural part of life. They do not waste energy fighting against the inevitable or falling into despair when faced with hardship. Instead, they use suffering as a tool for growth, allowing it to deepen their understanding of themselves and the world around them. By embracing the reality of suffering, spiritual people find a sense of peace even in the midst of life's most difficult moments. They understand that suffering is not a sign of failure or punishment, but a universal experience that connects all of humanity. One of the most profound realizations that spiritual people come to understand is the temporary nature of everything in life. Nothing lasts forever: relationships, possessions, successes, or even life itself. This truth can be unsettling for many, as it challenges our deep-seated desire for permanence and stability. We often cling to things, people, and situations, hoping to hold onto them forever. However, spiritual individuals recognize that the impermanence of life is not something to fear, but to accept and even embrace. Understanding the temporary nature of everything brings a unique sense of freedom. When we accept that everything is fleeting, we begin to appreciate the present moment more deeply. We stop taking things for granted and start valuing the experiences and people in our lives for what they are: beautiful, temporary gifts. This awareness allows spiritual people to live with a greater sense of gratitude and mindfulness. They cherish their moments of joy, knowing they will not last forever, and they endure their moments of pain with the understanding that these, too, will pass. This acceptance of impermanence also teaches spiritual individuals the art of letting go. Letting go is not about giving up or losing, but about releasing the tight grip we have on things that are beyond our control. Whether it's a relationship that has run its course, a material possession that no longer serves us, or a phase of life that has ended, spiritual people learn to let go with grace. They understand that holding on to what is meant to be temporary only leads to suffering. By embracing the transient nature of life, they find a deeper sense of peace and contentment, knowing that life's true beauty lies in its impermanence. This perspective on temporariness does not lead to detachment or apathy. Instead, it fosters a profound connection to life, where every moment is seen as precious and worthy of full engagement. Spiritual people live with the awareness that while they cannot hold on to anything forever, they can fully experience and appreciate it while it is there. This mindset allows them to move through life with a sense of acceptance and grace, finding joy in the present while being prepared for the inevitable changes that life will bring. In a world driven by consumerism, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that material possessions and external achievements are the keys to happiness and fulfillment. We are constantly bombarded with messages that equate success with wealth, status, and the accumulation of things. However, spiritual people understand a deeper truth, that materialism is a deception, offering only temporary satisfaction that ultimately leaves a void within. The pursuit of material wealth, while not inherently wrong, often leads to a cycle of endless wanting, where no amount of possessions or external validation can fill the emptiness inside. Spiritual people recognize that true fulfillment comes from within, not from the things we own or the achievements we accumulate. They understand that material possessions are transient and cannot bring lasting happiness. Instead of focusing on accumulating more, they prioritize inner growth, relationships, and experiences that nourish the soul. This doesn't mean that spiritual individuals reject all material comforts or live in poverty, but they maintain a healthy detachment from material things. They see possessions for what they are, tools to be used, not sources of identity or worth. The deception of materialism lies in the belief that more will make us happy. But spiritual people know that this is a never-ending chase, leading only to dissatisfaction and a sense of lack. By shifting the focus from external wealth to inner abundance, they find a deeper, more sustainable source of happiness. This inner abundance is rooted in self-awareness, gratitude, and a connection to something greater than oneself. Spiritual people live with the understanding that true wealth is not measured by what we have but by who we are and how we connect with the world around us. Every person carries within them a shadow, a collection of unconscious fears, desires, and aspects of the self that are often hidden from conscious awareness. These inner shadows can manifest as self-sabotage, fear, or unresolved emotional pain. Spiritual people understand the importance of confronting and integrating these shadows as a crucial part of their journey. They know that ignoring or denying the darker aspects of the self only gives them more power, leading to patterns of behavior that limit personal growth and fulfillment. The process of shadow work, facing and embracing these hidden parts of the self, is not easy. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to look within and acknowledge aspects of ourselves that we may find uncomfortable or even disturbing. However, spiritual individuals understand that this work is necessary for true transformation. By bringing these shadows into the light of awareness, they can be understood, integrated, and ultimately transformed. This process allows spiritual people to break free from limiting beliefs and behaviors that have been holding them back, paving the way for greater self-awareness and personal freedom. The weight of inner shadows can be heavy, often leading to feelings of guilt, shame, or unworthiness. But spiritual people know that these feelings are not to be feared or suppressed, but explored and healed. They approach their shadows with compassion and understanding, recognizing that these darker aspects are simply parts of themselves that need love and acceptance. By doing this work, spiritual people not only heal themselves, but also deepen their capacity for empathy and compassion toward others. They understand that everyone has shadows, and by embracing their own, they can relate to others on a more profound and authentic level. In the noise and busyness of modern life, silence is a rare commodity. We are constantly surrounded by distractions, technology, social media, the demands of work, and the expectations of society. For many, silence can even be uncomfortable, as it forces us to confront our own thoughts and feelings without the usual distractions. However, spiritual people understand that silence is not just the absence of noise, but a powerful space for inner connection and spiritual growth. The silence of the soul is where true wisdom, clarity, and peace are found. Spiritual individuals seek out silence, not to escape the world, but to connect more deeply with their inner selves and the greater spiritual truths that guide their lives. They know that in silence, the mind quiets down, allowing deeper insights and understanding to emerge. It is in these moments of silence that they can hear the whispers of their soul, guiding them toward their true path and purpose. Silence provides the space for reflection, contemplation, and the kind of deep inner work that leads to personal transformation. In a world that often values constant activity and noise, spiritual people prioritize moments of silence as essential for their well-being. They understand that silence is not just a physical state, but a mental and spiritual one. It is a space where they can reconnect with their inner wisdom, release the stresses of daily life, and find a sense of calm and centeredness. In the silence of the soul, they find answers to their deepest questions, clarity in their decisions, and a profound sense of peace that sustains them through life's challenges. This commitment to silence is a testament to their understanding that true strength and wisdom come not from external noise and activity, but from the quiet depths of the soul. One of the most challenging yet liberating truths that spiritual people understand is the power of letting go. Life is a series of transitions, and holding on too tightly to people, possessions, or situations that no longer serve us can prevent us from moving forward. Letting go is not about giving up or losing, it's about releasing the attachment to things that weigh us down. Spiritual people realize that clinging to the past or to expectations creates unnecessary suffering. They understand that true freedom comes from allowing life to flow naturally, without resisting the changes that are an inevitable part of the human experience. Letting go involves trust in the process of life, in oneself, and in the belief that something better awaits on the other side of release. This doesn't mean that spiritual people don't experience pain or loss when they let go, rather, they accept these feelings as a natural part of the process. They know that by releasing what no longer aligns with their growth, they create space for new opportunities, relationships, and experiences that are more in harmony with their current path. Letting go is an act of courage, of choosing to live in the present rather than being bound by the past. This process is deeply transformative. Spiritual individuals who practice letting go find that their lives become less burdened by unnecessary stress and more filled with peace and clarity. They no longer waste energy on trying to control what is beyond their power. Instead, they focus on what they can influence, how they respond to life's changes, how they move forward with grace, and how they embrace the new with an open heart. This ability to let go is a key element of their spiritual growth, enabling them to live with greater authenticity and joy. At the heart of spiritual growth is the concept of shadow work, embracing and integrating the parts of ourselves that we often hide or deny. These inner shadows, whether they manifest as fear, anger, jealousy, or unresolved trauma, have a profound impact on our lives. Spiritual people understand that ignoring these shadows only allows them to control us from the subconscious. The real power lies in facing these aspects of ourselves with honesty and compassion, allowing them to be seen and understood. Embracing the inner shadows is not an easy task. It requires a willingness to look at the parts of ourselves that we may find unpleasant or even frightening. However, spiritual people know that these shadows hold valuable lessons. By bringing them into the light of consciousness, they can be healed and transformed. This process leads to greater self-awareness and a deeper understanding of one's true nature. It's a journey of self-acceptance, where the goal is not to eliminate the shadows, but to integrate them into a more complete and balanced self. This work also deepens one's capacity for empathy and connection with others. When we understand and embrace our own shadows, we become more accepting of the imperfections in others. We realize that everyone has their own struggles and hidden fears. This awareness fosters a sense of compassion and a deeper connection with those around us. Spiritual people use this understanding to build more authentic and supportive relationships, where both the light and the dark aspects of each person are acknowledged and honored. The concept of the mirror principle is a powerful one in spiritual practice. Spiritual people understand that the world around them is a reflection of their inner world, their beliefs, thoughts, and emotions. What we see in our external reality is often a mirror of what is happening within us. If we experience conflict, dissatisfaction, or lack, it is often because these same issues exist within us. Conversely, when we cultivate inner peace, love, and abundance, these qualities are reflected back to us in our external world. This understanding leads spiritual people to focus on inner transformation as the key to changing their outer reality. They realize that trying to manipulate or change the external world without addressing the internal issues is futile. The real work is within, changing their thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes to align with the life they want to create. This internal work is deeply empowering, as it places the responsibility for one's life in one's own hands. By changing themselves, spiritual people change the world around them. The mirror of reality also serves as a valuable feedback mechanism. Spiritual people use their external experiences to gain insight into what is happening within them. If they encounter obstacles or challenges, they look within to see what needs to be addressed or healed. This approach allows them to live more consciously and intentionally, using every experience as an opportunity for growth. They understand that by continuously refining their inner world, they shape a reality that is more aligned with their true self and higher purpose. Life's truths can be difficult to accept, but spiritual people understand that facing these realities is essential for true growth and fulfillment. They see beyond the surface illusions, recognizing that control is often an illusion, suffering is a natural part of life, and everything in the physical world is temporary. They understand the deception of materialism and instead seek fulfillment from within. They embrace their inner shadows, recognizing them as a vital part of the journey toward wholeness. They find peace in the silence of the soul, where true wisdom and clarity reside, and they understand the power of letting go as a way to live more freely and authentically. Through the mirror of reality, spiritual people see the direct connection between their inner world and their external experiences. They take responsibility for their lives by focusing on inner transformation, knowing that the outer world will naturally reflect these changes. By embracing these dark truths, spiritual people navigate life with a sense of peace, purpose, and resilience. They live not in fear of life's challenges, but with the understanding that these challenges are opportunities for deeper growth and connection with their true selves. In doing so, they create a life that is not only meaningful and fulfilling, but also deeply aligned with their spiritual path.